Welcome back to our Ignite You Spark Show. That's a new name that was just given to us today by one of our members. It's the Spark Show where the ignition is, I don't remember the whole story, but it's the Spark Show. And if that doesn't work out, we're going to change the title of it. But we're here. We're going to feature one of our members tonight. We're going to interview one of our fun folks. Before we get to that, I just want to tell you a little bit about Ignite You in case you know nothing about Ignite You, and I'm going to put that up on the screen for you. So Ignite You is a membership-based networking group. We're located in Lakewood, Washington is where we gather at the Great American Casino. We're there every Tuesday from 11:30 to 1 and every Friday morning from 7:30 to 9. I had to think about that. We have close to 500 members. Any one of those meetings, we have around, on average, about 100 people that show up. So we have great networking, no mandatory attendance. People will come and choose which meetings they want to attend. We just have purely 100% great networking because we have phenomenal members in our membership. We happen to have one of those members here with us tonight. I'm going to bring him up as long as my technology works here. Hold on a second. Let's make sure we've got him, Mr. James Beck. Are you there, buddy?
I'm here.
Woo! We made it work. We were having some technology issues with sound before, so we started a couple minutes late. But hey, before we get started, I got to ask you, James. So, what do you think of the backdrop here, where I got this light that's looking out the back of my head, and it's looking like my head is glowing? What do you think of that, huh?
Well, I've gotten used to finding creative ways to avoid the shine off the glare of your head. You know, networking is important, so you got to get over the challenges. So it's old hat to me. Don't worry about it.
Hey, there's no additional charge for the glow off my head right now, but it's coming to you for free. All right. So, Mr. James Beck, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a lot about you, in fact. So,
absolutely.
Let me go back to early years, James Beck. You are not a Tacoma native, are you?
I am not. I actually am from a far distant planet called Krypton. I get special powers from your yellow sun, and it's been pretty cool. No, actually, I'm from California originally. I was born and raised in Central California in a little town called Fresno, but since I'm an optimist, I call it Fres Yes, although no one else would call it that, especially if they'd been there in the last 10 years. So so that's my history.
So, and where was it in California?
Fresno.
Fresno. I didn't know that. So, did you go to high school in Fresno?
No, actually, my parents divorced when I was 6, so all my family was in Fresno, and I spent most of my time there in a little town south of that called Lemoore. I think it's south, called Lemoore. And I went to high school starting. All my school years were there, and then I started my freshman year in high school there. But then my mom had moved to the Central Coast over by the Pismo Beach area, and I moved in with her when I was sophomore in high school and finished out high school there up in a little town called the Tascadero.
Pismo Beach rocks.
Yeah, it's a nice area. Yeah.
So do you still have family in California?
I do. All my family's in California.
You go back and visit them very often?
I do, yeah.
Right on. So then did you leave California when you graduated? What was the next step after you graduated high school?
So I went into the military. I wanted to be a police officer like my father, and his path took him through the Air Force. So I got into the Air Force. I was only there for 6 months. It didn't work out. So the Air Force was, let's just say it was a little softer than I expected the military to be, and I was a little bit too much. And so I ran my mouth and made some, dumb choices, as many 19-year-olds do. And so I got separated. It was honorable, but it was not favorable. We'll just put it that way. And then after that, I toiled around in life for a little while, trying to find my path and figure out what I was going to do. But still had unfinished business with the military. So I decided to go back, and I hit the Army up this time. And got into the Army, and I always wanted to come up here to Washington because I hate the sun and I love the rain. And I fell in love with the Pacific Northwest when I was about 7 years old. Came up to Astoria, Oregon, where the Goonies and Kindergarten Cop was filmed. Loved it, and then when I joined the Army, I enlisted to come to Fort Lewis. Came up here, and through strategic re-enlistments and deployments, I stayed here for about the first 10 years of my career and loved it.
And so how long did you stay in the Army total?
15 years total.
And you were at Fort Lewis for 10 years out of 15?
Yeah, that's somewhat unheard of.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't they normally ECS you around about every 3 or 4 years?
Yeah. But like I said, I re-enlisted strategically, and then deployments, you re-enlist while you're deployed for current station stabilization. So I was able to milk a good 10 years out of it.
Wow. So, so the last 5 years then of your Army career, you spent somewhere else, right?
I went to Korea for a year, and then over to El Paso, beautiful Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And about 7 to 9 months of that time period, I was in Afghanistan, and then I was able to find my way back up to Fort Lewis, where I got out of the military.
Gotcha. So, James, by the way, too, so I'm getting some messages from people asking me to turn the Ignite You banner off because I think it's blocking your head. On my end, it shows it's actually off, so it doesn't even show it's on. So let me try something else. I'm going to put up this one and see if it switches to New York Live. Let's see. Can someone tell me if the New York Live is up? If that's up, that'll be even better. And maybe if I turn that one off, but you're like on my screen, your head is right above where it says New York Live. For anyone who's watching, you see my eyes kind of moving around. It's like I'm the technical support person, staff, as well as the guy interviewing. So I'm doing about 4 different things. So I'm going to turn that off and see if it comes off now. I changed banners and I just turned it off completely. I don't want to block your beautiful face there. Hopefully it's and someone's saying it's still on. So guess what? I can't change it. Looks like I can't control it because now they're all off. So sorry, dude.
Well, it's my money maker. Maybe I can just bob and weave.
There you go. I think probably when you do that, your head is going up and down in that banner. So,
right.
Someone just said it's better. So I guess it's still there, but it moved down because I took our names off it. So we're going to keep going.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
You and I are having more technological challenges than anybody else I've had here.
Well, I like challenges, so maybe
so your last 5 years you spent traveling around, did a little time in Afghanistan. I don't think I asked you this. What was the job you did while you were in the Army?
So I was a forward observer, and so if you know, the Army's got artillery and mortar cannons, right? And they shoot at such a great distance that they can't actually see what they're shooting at. So my job was to go forward, find the enemy, and then relay their coordinates back so that the guns knew what they were shooting at. And then when they shot, I was there to observe and make sure that the rounds actually impacted in the right spot and correct them if they didn't. So
you kind of went to where they were shooting and let them shoot over you? Is that kind of the deal?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of like the good news, bad news. The good news is you made the Olympic javelin team. The bad news is you get to catch javelin.
Right. Well, no, actually, for me, I didn't have to. The enemy was the one catching the javelin. I just had to get close enough to throw it at him.
I love it. So what year did you get out of the Army then? That was because that was pretty recent in the last few years, right?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it was April 1st, 2016. So there were a lot of jokes from my fellow commandant. Yeah. Like, hey, they're going to tell you that just kidding, you're still in. Yeah, I got a lot of that.
So you're just coming up on, it's been less than 2.5 years since you've been out.
Yeah.
Nice. So what was the next transition? What did you do after the Army?
So New York Life was my first transition. I got into an organization called Work of Honor, which I've actually been a guest speaker at. And they connect veterans with employers, help you kind of bypass the online resume nonsense that goes on out there. And they have a networking event every month where they have the employers and the job seekers there to meet face to face. And I met my managing partner in the Tacoma General Office of New York Life. And I was already looking to stop trading my time for other people's money. I wanted to be more of an entrepreneur. And as I say at our tables at Ignite You many times, service is a longstanding history of lineage in my family. So I always knew that I wanted to continue to do something that was of service. And so I found a career where I'm able to serve people in what I think is the most important asset of life today, which is money. And I was able to control my time and control the amount of money that I make to do it. So it was a good fit. And the company, I never wanted to be a salesman. And so when I learned that that's not what we do, we help people. We don't sell them things. Everything just lined up, and I haven't looked back since. It's been phenomenal for me.
And so when you got out April 1st, how long did it take you to land the gig at New York Life? When did you start?
What we call my 0 month was actually June, and that really it only took that long because I had to test and get my life insurance license and all that type of stuff. So really, I started that process in May, and then got through the studying and the tests by June, and started with New York Life in June.
So you've just passed your 2-year mark, so you're working on your 3rd year, right?
Right.
So tell me if I'm correct. Number one, from what I understand, that's a huge accomplishment in itself, because new people starting out in the financial industry, many people don't even make it for the first year, do they?
No. And it's really the first 3 years is really the hard time. As a matter of fact, there's a guy that was working there. He was about a year ahead of me, and just a few months back, he hung it up and took a different job. Oh, wow. Sherry, thank you.
Now, I don't know if people can see the way that is. Like, your face be totally blocked right now, but I want to make sure I got that up there. If it is, I'm going to turn it off now. Maybe your face is seen again. I'm still getting the message that the Ignite You thing is still there, and I can't change it. But so you're working on your 3rd year. Tell me how the first 2 years have gone for you. What's because I think, didn't you get invited to Las Vegas because you were a top performer, and you
Yep.
haven't you won some awards for the stuff you're doing so far?
Well, I came very close. So, and it's funny you mentioned that, because when you start out in this industry, you don't really have anybody to talk to, right? So you start out with your friends, your family, people that are a little bit more forgiving of you being fresh and new, right?
And what do you do when those 4 people are done?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
When the 4 family members and friends are done, what do you do next, right?
Well, it's the 2 friends that I actually have, and the 2 family members that will actually speak to me. So yeah, that's I've got more than that, just, so that's exactly what do you do, right? So I burned through that list in about 6 months. And at the end of that first 6 months, I had absolutely no one to talk to. And so I was just like, well, okay, had a nice try, but what do I do now? Well, I had a guy that came. What did he? Oh, it was the guy that came. I had to replace the carpets in my house. So the guy comes to replace the carpets. He told me about his BNI group. And I thought that was just a great idea. I'd never heard of anything like that because I'd never been doing anything like this before. So I went and checked.
You knew nothing about networking because you'd been in the Army the whole time, right?
Right. Nothing. I'd never even thought of this.
The Army guys don't do a lot of networking, right?
No. There's really no reason, right? So I go to this BNI group, and it was not at all what I expected. Everyone there was at least in their 60s. And they had absolutely no interest in actually sitting down and doing meetings and giving referrals. So I didn't understand what the point, and it was very expensive. And then I learned that there's only a certain seat in a BNI group for each type of person, right? So being a life insurance guy at the time was all I could do. So they already had a life insurance guy. So it really there was nothing about it that worked out for me. But the concept was still in my head that this is a good thing to do. So I started checking out more BNI groups, trying to find one that fit for me. I found one that I really liked, but again, life insurance seat was already filled. I went out and checked another one out, and I was Googling business networking. I started Googling it, right? And Ignite You had come up. So Ignite You was on my radar to go and check out. And I went to another BNI group to check them out. And a guy that was there recommended to me, since their group was already full, to come and check out Ignite You. So that was 2 pings for Ignite You. And I thought, okay, well, let's go check this out. So there was January of 2017, and I showed up to my first Ignite You meeting. Oh, and the other thing was I work out in the mornings. So showing up somewhere at 7:30 in the morning just really wasn't appealing to me at all. It was right in the middle of my workout time. And Ignite You met at 11:30 on a Tuesday. I thought, well, that's great. Perfect. So I show up on my 11:30, Ignite You meeting, and I see all this energy in the room and over 100 people in the room, and we go through all this stuff, and I'm just like, this is phenomenal. No limitations of who can be in the group. No, hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month in dues. No restrictions on attendance, all this kind of stuff. It was great. So this is great. So then, you go through the spiel that you give to new members, and hey, if you join today, you can cross off that $99. As soon as you said cross off that $99 joining fee, I signed that. I'm telling you, right then and there, I was like, well, yeah, all right, this isn't too bad. It's $99, not bad. He said cross off $99. Okay, that's good. I'm good, and I signed it right there and turned the paper in. So, you definitely reeled me into the boat with that hook for sure. But it's been phenomenal. So 1 year after joining Ignite You, going from having absolutely nobody to talk to, and then 1 year later of religiously attending the Tuesday meetings, and then I come to the last Friday meeting, because for people that don't know, we promote attendance, the most attendance on the last Tuesday and last Friday of the month. So I always attend that Friday. And I was a couple $100 short at the end of that year of making Rookie of the Year, and I was so mad that I missed it. But I'm literally like $200 or $300, and I would have had it. So, and then fast forward, another year later, and here I'm qualifying for a top agent meeting in Las Vegas, and I would say that 100% of that has come from Ignite You. Now, I'm not going to say that 100% of my clients come from Ignite You, but Ignite You has given me contacts with, business people, life coaches. It's helped push me in the direction that I want to go to be a better person and build a business that I want to build the way that I want to build it. And if I hadn't joined Ignite You, I might not have, it's a good, safe bet that I would not have been able to sustain. Because I wouldn't have had enough tools. And don't get me wrong, New York Life teaches us so much, but what Ignite You did for me when it comes to networking, it can't be measured. So it's been phenomenal for me.
Wow, that's awesome. So we jumped ahead to the Ignite You. Let's go back for a second onto the New York Life, and tell me what kind of products and services you offer. So if someone's looking, someone may not know anything about New York Life. I don't know who that might be, but let's reach out to them and let people know exactly what kind of services and products that you can offer to help them with their financial future.
Absolutely. So it's actually pretty simple. People want to put us into boxes. Everybody, every industry, right? You meet somebody, you go, "Hey, New York Life, what do you do?" "Oh, New York Life, that's life insurance, right?" "Oh, yeah, I'm good. I don't need life insurance." Or, "I've had a bad experience with life insurance, guys." So I don't sell anybody anything. I offer a comprehensive evaluation of a person's financial life cycle, and we help them figure out where they want to put their money, why they want to put it there, and what tools are going to be the most appropriate for them to use. So it might be life insurance for this guy. It could be an annuity for that one. It could be long-term care or some sort of investment in the market into mutual funds. It really is all about the person that I sit down with. So anybody that's concerned about protecting their family, protecting their assets, and maximizing the efficiency of their assets for the future, especially in retirement, is somebody that I want to talk to.
And so when they want to sit down with you, how long does an initial consultation last? So when they sit down and you're going to interview them about what they need, where they're at right now, and how they want to get to the end game. How long is that initial consultation that you take somebody through?
So, it's a very short, 5.5, 6, 7 hours. We don't, no, if we just sat down and just asked questions and no pleasantries and none of that type of stuff, we could knock the whole thing out in a half an hour in an initial consultation. I usually go an hour, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how much somebody likes to talk, so I like to make sure there's enough time there to capture it all. But yeah, that initial consultation, 45 minutes to an hour, depending.
So, and then you got all the professional training from New York Life. Tell everyone a little bit about New York Life, because I feel like the oldest firm around that does what you do, or one of the, tell us about New York Life, because so a lot of people, that's one of the most important things is how long has the company been around that you're working for, and are they going to be around tomorrow? So what's the history of New York Life?
So that's a big thing, right? Because as we've already said, I've been doing this for 2 years. And so people may not be comfortable going, okay, we've only been doing this for 2 years. A lot of people do that. Call me again in 5 years when I know you're still working there, right? But for the company side of things, what makes it really great is New York Life's been around for 174 years now. We started in 1845, and our startup capital at that time was $17,000, which in 1845 is a pretty considerable chunk of change. And so fast forward 174 years later, we now manage over $500 billion of assets. We have a $24 billion surplus, which means that if all $500 billion is gone, we've still got another $24 billion to dip into. And that's 3 times larger than it's required to be by law, and it's the largest in the industry, which is what makes us the largest mutual insurance company in the country. Wow. On that note, as a mutual insurance company, we don't have stockholders. So you can't buy stock in New York Life. We're not publicly traded. And what that means is that all of our profits, considerations, ideas, management strategies are all based on what's good for our clients, because they're the only people that we have that are paying the bills. And that mutual companies are very few and far between nowadays. As a matter of fact, I've heard that it's not even possible to start a mutual company anymore. So a lot of other companies over the years decided to demutualize and become stock companies because, you know, it's easy to get money from investors. And we have decided to stay mutual, which has been the best decision this company has ever made. And one of the greatest things that we like to tout is the fact that of that 174 years, the last 164 of those years, we've exceeded our guarantees, paid dividends back to our clients. And that's through the Great Depression, the Civil War, every war and major financial crisis in this country's history. So wow. Those were all things that to me were extremely important because, like you said, I don't want to work for a company that's not going to be here tomorrow. That's not a good way to start a career, right? So, yeah.
So if somebody wanted to sit down with you, they want to talk about future investing, and they want to talk about wherever they're at now, wherever they're going to be, what's the best way to reach out to you so they can schedule something to do that?
So the best way to reach out to me is usually by phone.
What's your number? And I'm going to pop it up. Hopefully I'm going to pop it up on the screen here. What's your number?
Yeah, 253
okay.
226 5178.
5178. And we'll see if someone maybe sends me a text. Maybe my wife will send me a text and say, yeah, it's on the screen. But for me, it shows on the screen, 253 226 5178. James Beck. So, we'll see if I get a message.
I do a lot of meetings. One of my activity goals is to set 2 appointments every day for someday in the future. And we've got a lot of metrics like that that spell out success for us in this industry. But what that basically means is that my calendar fills up really quickly and I don't usually answer my phone. So what I tell people is that if they're trying to get a hold of me, the quickest and easiest way to do it is by text message, because the way I've got my phone set up, that stays on the phone in front of me and it's not something that I can forget or swipe off or anything like that.
That was the same number we just had up on the screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's your direct cell number, goes right to you.
Right.
Awesome. So, folks, if you want to know about more about your financial future, that's the cool thing. James Beck has now lasted through 2 of probably the most difficult years to start up your business, financial business, because that's when people usually weed themselves out. He has not weeded himself out. He has excelled, where he just missed the Rookie of the Year. He is now getting invitations to leadership conferences because he's doing so well in Vegas. And I'm assuming that New York Life paid the whole bill for that, yes?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So you guys need to call James Beck. He's a wealth of knowledge. He can help you do a lot of cool stuff for your financial future. Now, I know we had talked about Ignite You. You had said all these wonderful things that it was working great for you. So, I'm going to go back and rehash that. So you've been around for 1.5 years, and you go to the Tuesday meetings consistently. You don't like miss many Tuesday meetings, do you?
No, not unless I'm out of town or something. You know, like I was in Vegas yesterday, so I couldn't come.
Well, let me ask you this one: would you say that one of the most important things that is creating your success within IU, at least, is the fact that you're there every Tuesday?
Absolutely.
So how much business or referrals do you think you'd get if you didn't show up at all, or maybe you showed up once a month?
Oh, you can't even measure the difference. You know, I mean, one of my claims to success in Ignite You, and if you ask people, most people would tell you, I think I do more one-to-ones than anybody in the group.
Nice.
And, you know, a one-to-one is not a selling meeting. I don't come there with my PowerPoint slides and my flip charts and whatever else. Thank you, Tammy. I love you. And you just go and get to know people and build relationships. And I've got people in Ignite You that are my clients and I'm not theirs, and vice versa. So just getting to know people. And there's my guy. There's Orlando. Is so huge, but you can't do that if you don't show up.
And I know the other thing is, you give a lot of referrals to Ignite You members, and if you weren't there learning about their business, you couldn't give these other members the referrals you do, right?
Right. I try to do that as much as I can. So I put, contact lists together for people, that might be helpful for them. And you learn things as you show up too, right? So, one of the best was realtors. We have a ton of realtors in the group, right? And so when I first came, I met somebody and I said, okay, if I'm going to sell my house or somebody's going to sell their house, I'm going to refer them to this person. If they're going to buy, I'm going to refer them to this person. And if they're going to refi, it's going to go to this person. So that's it, my 3. That's what you do in real estate. So every time a new person, a new realtor would come up to me, I'd be, oh, you're real estate? Oh, I can't talk to you. I don't know how to refer anybody to you, so I can't talk to you. And then I learned that what they really care about is having a list of resources that they can give to their clients, and that what I do fits into that list really well. And then I started talking to more realtors, and it wasn't about whether or not I could refer someone to buy or sell or refinance a house. It was whether or not I could offer value to their client list and be a resource for them. And they love that. But you know how I figured stuff like that out? By continually showing up and associating with more and more and more people. You can't, the Facebook group is phenomenal, but you can't do on the Facebook group what you can do by showing up to the meetings and participating and being somebody who's present.
Amen, brother. Well said. I'm going to ask you 2 final questions, then we're going to wrap it up because we're about 8 o'clock. So first question, there's going to be people who are non-members. They're not affiliated with Ignite You yet. They're business owners. They're business managers. They might be watching, so they come all the way to the end. And they might be looking for a networking home. What kind of advice are you going to give them?
So first of all, just show up and sign up. Okay. So successful people learn early on that we're not meant to figure out how to make right or wrong decisions. We're meant to make decisions and then figure out how to make them right. So this group will absolutely work for anyone and everyone if you work it. If you don't work it and it doesn't work, that's not on the group, it's on you. So show up and sign up. Just do it. You're not breaking your bank account to do it, and you've got a great system for referrals and membership. So just show up and sign up. And then get to know people, build relationships, meet people, learn about them, and it will pay you huge dividends. I mean, it's no more complicated than that.
So that's my next question. So my next question is for the people who are members, and maybe those people that we're talking about now are going to come, they're going to join, but there's people in Ignite You, almost 500 strong now, that are members. Give me your top success tips for them to be successful in their networking with Ignite You. Give me a couple things that they need to do and that they'll be successful.
So the first thing,
according to James Beck right here.
Thank you. First thing is something that everybody already knows: givers get. Okay, so if you walk into an Ignite You meeting looking at people as if they're dollar signs and clients to buy something for you, that is the quickest way to fail. Okay, obviously I want to sell everybody in Ignite You life insurance and plan their retirement. That would be fantastic. And when I do one-to-ones, I'm very transparent that I want to see if what I do is a good fit for them. But I also want to see, before I get into any of that, what I can do to help them outside of my business. So whether that's referrals or whether that's, advice, or, it can be anything from referring a book that I thought was really well to anything. You find givers get, you do that first, but you have to make connections. If you're not making connections in the group, then why are you even there? So get in the group. Make connections with people, figure out what you can do to help them, and don't worry about the rest. It will come around and pay you back. Absolutely, 100%.
I love it. The networking world, according to the Army guy who never networked, that started networking, and because you did it so consistently, you went from starting out your business to just being shy rookie of the year. That should be the thing right there that says it all, that it works, and you've done it. and without even having the background for it. So it's just a matter of showing up and making connections. I could not have said it any better myself. I love it, dude. And Sherry and I are so blessed to have you as part of the Ignite You family from the time you came in. By the way, let me ask you this one too. You're making these connections. You're doing some great business. You're giving some great referrals. How much do you pay for your Ignite You membership right now?
Yeah, I don't pay anything for it.
So because of our referral program, people can earn a free membership, and James has referred a couple people to Ignite You. He doesn't pay anymore, and so he gets all these great benefits. And so anyone else watching can come in and refer a couple people and get the same benefits and not pay either. So
wait,
James,
I thought my membership was free because of how good looking I am.
that wasn't it, but it was a good try. No. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here. James, I know how busy you are with your business schedule, your personal schedule, and I appreciate you taking time to join us tonight. Folks, if you're here and you're watching, make sure you hit the share button. Get this out onto Facebook so other people can meet James Beck. He's an awesome guy. If you haven't connected with him yet, you need to meet him. If you're already in Ignite You and you don't know him, you need to meet him because he's going to connect you with other people that you're not connected to yet. If you're someone watching this and you're not a member, come on Tuesdays just to meet James Beck. He will take you all around the room, I promise you. Just tell him that you're there to meet him. He will introduce you to 10 or 15 people at that meeting, I promise you, and help you decide whether you want to become a member as well. So, Mr. James Beck, brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And we won't see you on Friday. We'll see you on Tuesday, but then we'll probably see you the next Friday for our base camp preview, our Ignite You Leader Summit preview.
I got that bookmarked.
Awesome. We're looking forward to seeing you. Brother, again, thanks for being here. Sherry and I appreciate you big time, more than you know. And we'll see you on Tuesday. See you, everybody.
I want to add one more thing. Another member of Ignite You is helping me revamp my workouts so that I can start showing up consistently on Fridays. That's how much I love this group. So love you guys too. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for doing this. Everything you do means so much to us. Really appreciate you, brother. Absolutely 100%.
We'll see you Tuesday. Love you, man.
Okay. Thanks.